fuck my life. Can't say that, girl. Don't tell me you can save that shit. All she want is payback for the way I always play that shit. You ain't getting nothing. Now I'm saying, don't tell me you is. It's close enough. Whatever. Welcome along to the Guy and Harley Podcast. So it's a new show this week. We are trying out some new things, as mentioned in the last episode. That was Little Peep, by the way. Rest his soul. This is my homie Little Peep. I'm gonna pour out one for Little Peep right now. You ready?
Pour one out into your mouth, as opposed to pouring it on the floor of your room.
Yeah, well, that would be a bad idea. So yes, welcome along to Guy and Harley Podcast, episode 119. And this one is very unique because we are streaming it for the first time ever. So we warned you listeners last week that there might be some stuff where we kind of waffle about shit that you can't see, and we're sorry about that. We're learning. We're still learning.
We're still trying to understand the internet.
The interweb. Yeah, so what's new with you, Guy?
Well, I've been on a hell of a ride.
Yeah?
Hell of a journey. I've been to Wellington, I've been to Dunedin, I've been back again, and now I'm back. I attended, I think the biggest thing to probably mention is I attended Dunedin.
Oh, yeah, so you've got some Alex Savage, your close personal
friend. I went in support of him. He was wrestling in Dunedin for SPW. SPW is like the biggest wrestling promotion in New Zealand currently. And it's kind of like where all the cool kids are. It's where you want to wrestle if you possibly can. And they get like sort of big turnouts to their shows and do like a lot of preparation and promotion of their shows. So it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. And you went down there and wrestled with them. Now, I'd like to welcome in our first stream viewer. This is a big moment. Hello, welcome to the show.
Does it say their name?
We can. If they comment, then we will see their comment. Otherwise, there is this wee button I can press over here.
It's is that you?
No. Electric Skateboard. Electric Skateboard is always here and never comments. So Electric Skateboard is
he's always watching.
Yeah, he's either a weird perv from the internet, lurking in the background, or he's a super supportive friend who wants to help us get our average views up.
Who's modest
and doesn't want to,
doesn't want to
make a big
fuss.
scene. Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those two things. But Electric Skateboard's currently here, so welcome along. But yeah, so you went down to Dunedin, and big news for Alex Savage.
Big news for Alex Savage. He got the big W. He got the win against Jackson Crossman, who was an Australian wrestler.
Yeah.
Wrestles over in Australia. And it was a pretty amazing night. It was a sellout. So I think they sold 250 tickets and then plus some extra standing room.
Yeah.
It was at the Union Hall, which is actually just above our old stomping grounds, Refuel.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so right next to Refuel, like above that, they've got this big sort of open hall, and that's where it was.
Yeah.
And it was very cool.
A bar we used to frequent occasionally, if that sentence even makes sense, in Dunedin in our youth. And basically, a lot of people showed up to support Alex Savage. A lot of my friends, all of my family. And so I had Alex Savage had a lot of support. Well, just to clarify for any new listeners, Alex Savage looks a lot like you. He has the same hairstyle as you. He has a keen interest in wrestling just like you. But
he's not me.
He's not you.
He's a close personal friend.
Yeah, but anywhere that you go is where Alex goes.
Like Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They're not the same person.
Yeah.
Close personal friend.
Got it. Okay.
So anyway, it was a really epic night. Really awesome crowd. Everyone was super into it. Had a very big feel to it, because it was like a big show. A lot of people there, and a lot of people super into it. And then afterwards, Alex Savage was signing autographs for the kids and taking photos and whatnot, and feeling like a legit celebrity there for a for a little while.
Yeah, I love that feeling.
It was just it was very cool. Apparently they haven't had wrestling down there, like, apart from at Armageddon shows, in 30 years.
Right.
So it was
but I don't understand that. So this is the Southern Pro Wrestling thing.
Yeah.
Which is big in Invercargill and Queenstown, and they haven't had a wrestling show in Dunedin, which is just around the corner.
Yeah. Until now.
Okay.
But they are looking, I think, and also because of the success of this show, they're looking to run more shows down there. So it was definitely a success for them, which I'm very happy about, because it means that they will probably come back, and that means that they will probably ask me to come back. Alex Savage also almost sold all of his T-shirts.
Yep.
12 of 14 T-shirts flew out the door.
Do you know what that means, listeners? That means that if you want an Alex Savage T-shirt, he only has 2 left, and he wants to keep one for himself, probably.
So it's probably only one left.
So there's probably only one left.
It's a medium, but it's actually a large. You know, like, it fits me. I'm normally a large, and so if you're a large, it will definitely fit you.
Yeah. Or if you like baggy T-shirts.
So it was just a very cool kind of one night only, night you'll never forget moment, and I was a very happy lad. Very cool. I also did go to Wellington to Armageddon. That was also cool, but definitely not as good. Armageddon, IPW puts on a wrestling show there, and basically it's in the Cake Tin, right? So it's in the Westpac Stadium. And where the field is, that's where they have the guests. And so everyone can, like, sit around out there and listen to the guests. And while inside, you can walk the circle of the stadium, and that's where.
Did they cover the inside of the Cake Tin somehow, or did they just have the guests sitting out in the miserable wind and rain of Wellington?
They put up like a little
gazebo
pavilion sort of thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's definitely kind of weird because they're just out there, and like people just kind of wandering in and sitting down like in one section where they can view them.
Yeah.
It is a little bit strange, but anyway, even for the wrestling, it's a little bit strange. You do 3 shows per day, and the ring is just sitting there, so people just walk up. So they kind of just walk up, and an audience, amasses. Alex Savage had one of his worst matches there.
Oh yeah, this year.
Yes, this year, probably his worst match ever. Is what he had. Definitely did not go well. Playing to a hearty crowd of about 18 people.
Right.
And they were not feeling it.
No.
They were not interested.
No.
Those 18 people were not there, and I think when pro wrestling, like, you can have a bad match and it seems good if people are into it. And that's really what matters most at the end of the day, is crowd engagement and participation. But if you can have a great match and the crowd ain't feeling it, well, it doesn't matter. In this case, it wasn't a great match. It was a terrible match,
and the crowd
were terrible as well. So that definitely left a bit of a sour taste in the old mouth for Wellington, and also Wellington, not a great city.
No? What's your main issue with it? I like the layout. I like the people. I like the layout.
The weather?
But it's the weather. It's just that weather.
The weather, and I just, I obviously went to a bunch of places, just doesn't seem as cool.
Well, it's not as big and as exciting as Auckland.
That's right. It just seems
not
like
much happening. Small town.
Yeah, just seemed a bit blah to me. So, shout out to the Wellingtonians.
Shout out to the Wellington listeners.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, speaking of fame and fortune, I can announce now that TVNZ First Dates is a show. It's a reality show that I was on last year.
Yeah.
And we haven't discussed really what happened, but it's a dating show where you go on a blind date.
I thought we discussed in depth what happened.
You said that in a different episode. You said the exact same thing. You said, well, I thought we discussed that in depth. And I said, no, Guy, I legally cannot. We definitely did not. Like I've just told you about it off camera, off mic.
Okay.
But I've never, once it comes out on TV, then we can break it down in depth for the listeners.
Right.
But anyway, I've got an update, which is that it premieres on April 19th, which today's the 13th, so it's pretty soon. Yeah.
I've got a little tidbit about that.
Okay.
One of the wrestling managers, known as Miss Rivers in IPW, but known known as Shani in real life, but not the Shani that I used to
date.
My ex-girlfriend, once removed.
Yeah.
So proudly sponsored by my ex-girlfriend. We should probably mention that. This podcast is proudly sponsored by my crazy ex-girlfriend. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, she did. She paid.
She's paying the bills.
She paid in
She's
advance.
keeping the lights on.
She gave us $100, and it's about $10 a month. Or I think it's it's a little bit more than $10 a month to host this podcast. So that's a bill that we're just covering. Yeah. And she gave us $100 deposit to cover like 10 months almost.
Proudly supported by my crazy ex-girlfriend.
But then they broke up, but she had already paid. So, oh well.
So, you know, she did take a few things. I noticed she was it's not an Indian giver. What is that well, maybe it is.
I think Indian giver's right, but it might be like real racist nowadays.
Yeah, no, it's racist for sure. 100% racist.
But we used to say Indian giver when I was a kid. Like if somebody gives you something and then takes it back, you'd say they're an Indian giver.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's based on like American Indians and like, I don't know.
Yes,
people giving them things and taking it back. I don't know what it is exactly.
I guess so she gave me a few things.
Yeah, which she took back on the way out the door.
And this took me like several months to notice.
Yeah.
In fact, I only just recently noticed some of them. And I was like, where are those? And I was like, well, there's only one place they could be. Repossessed.
Yeah.
By my crazy ex-girlfriend. And I'm pretty sure she also may have like repossessed a game of mine as well.
We'll call it a Fallout.
Well, maybe that, but also Back to the Future.
Oh yeah.
Which I bought and now is gone.
It's gone. But why would she want it?
I don't even want it, but I don't think she'd want the other thing she took back either.
Right. What was the other thing?
She took them back.
Big dildo.
Like
big dildo. Yeah. Yeah, and you missed that straight away. You're like, "Hey, where's that gone?" You noticed the next day.
It took me months. But I looked to pull it out of the drawer, and I was like, "Where is this?"
You go, "You know what I feel like tonight?" Oh, where is that?
No, it was actually like some of those pop little, like I had like little wrestler pop things. You know, those little
some sort of toy
bobblehead things, sort of.
Yeah,
the big heads.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had a couple of those.
Yeah.
Then now they're gone.
Right.
I don't anymore.
Yeah.
And a couple of other things. But,
well, that seems like a strange thing to steal.
Well, you look, if you're going to take, like, that's the thing. Don't give something that you're going to take back. Just don't do it. Just don't. You can't. If you give it, it's done.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is.
It's no longer yours.
It's done. And there's no point just being like, what does she do it like? Because the thing, I like those. They were cool. They were just sitting on my, on my stereo. They were cool. Like, what are you going to take those back for? You don't want them. Do you want a little Ultimate Warrior pop thing sitting on your desk? No, you're just going to chuck that in the bin. It's plastic, not magic.
So it doesn't disappear.
So
but it did disappear.
It did disappear. But anyway, I got a little bit sidetracked.
You did.
I got way sidetracked.
Totally derailed the conversation and went into a long ramble about your ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, Shani,
who was IPW.
The wrestling Shani.
Yeah, the wrestling Shani.
Yeah.
Who, again, weird tangent, is now friends with my crazy ex-girlfriend.
Right, the two Shanis.
And, like, I feel like part of it is because they're
got
both
the same
called
name.
the same name, and somehow there's a like, we're connected. So we have the same name.
So why are we talking about Shani, the wrestler?
She's on first date. So she is appearing on first dates.
I wish that I had
her
been paired with her.
I wish that too. Not because it would have been successful, but because we would have had some hilarious stories.
Well, I do think, it'd be more likely to be successful than the one I got put on, but, we can't talk about that yet, so let's not go too deep into that. Hang on. We can't talk about that yet. I'm just moving my microphone. Sorry for the audio.
In case you're wondering what Harley's doing, he had his microphone placed on something. It
was too high.
It was too high, so he needed to readjust. So to readjust it, he got his wanking toilet paper that he has in his room explicitly for wanking. And he's used that to prop up his microphone now. It's the wanking toilet paper. It's serving a couple of different uses today.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know.
It's wanking toilet paper, which he took from his bed.
I'll have you know that this wanking toilet paper, I also use it to clean up other things.
Like the jizz from his wanking.
No, obviously that's what you would use it for, as wanking toilet paper anyway.
Yeah.
So, no, what we use it for is, you know, I often clean my desk.
Yeah.
You know, using toilet paper. I often eat fruit at my desk and I need to wipe down the knife in the desk.
A lot of sticky fluids on the desk.
You're right, you got it.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I did not get paired with this Shani from his wrestling, who's actually quite attractive last time I saw her.
Yep. Miss Rivers, yep.
I didn't get paired with her, but I'm not allowed to talk about who I did get paired with. But
you're not allowed to talk about it.
But what I can say is that we have an official date. It starts on April 19th. It's on TV3 MediaWorks, and it's going to be. I'm going to be in episode 5, so I'm not on April 19th. I'm about 4 or 5 weeks after that. Episode 5 of a show called First Dates. I am one of the contestants. They have officially announced the show and done like teasers and so forth. And they called me the other day to ask if I'm available to do press and publicity for it, and I was like, "Fuck yes!" That's the whole reason I signed up. So hopefully
that
soon.
took a long time to edit.
Yeah, we filmed it in around July, but it won't be that it took that long to edit. It'll be that they will
They
want
just
to
decided
launch
to
it.
put it on now.
Yeah, they want to launch it at a particular time or whatever. You
Yeah.
know, like they don't want to launch it over Christmas or whatever. You know, they'll have some plan. For when they want to launch it. So anyway, I am going to be on mainstream primetime television sometime over the next 5 weeks or so, 5 or 6 weeks, and I am a bit scared because I don't know how they're going to edit me, and I have a feeling that, you know, like it could be fine, or I could say a whole bunch of dickish things, and the way they cut it takes it out of context or whatever, or I'm just a dick. I'm just way more of a dick than I think I am, and then I'm going to watch it and be like, oh God, I'm fucking humiliated and embarrassed on national television.
I'm a terrible person.
Yeah, well, Guy's on it. Guy also, I got to call Guy as part of the show. You get to jump on the phone and call your friend for like support.
I don't think I came off very well.
Well,
now that you mention it,
yeah,
very superficial.
Well, I'm not sure. You did. You opened with your opening question to me. So the deal is, you can make a phone call, right?
It's like phone a friend. It's like
phone a friend.
What's that? The $1 Million Show? What is that show? Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah.
So you got a lifeline.
Yeah.
Call a friend.
Yeah.
And this is basically that. You call a friend and go, hey, really, you're just having a chat with them.
Yeah.
What should I do? Should I bone this girl? And then I give advice.
Yeah. Well, so I called Guy, but you weren't so bad. His opening question was, we really can't talk too much about it. We're just going to have to not talk too much about it. We're going to have to stop. Yeah. Anyway, the point is, we'll discuss it in depth after it's gone to air.
Yeah.
Now, if any of the listeners on the live stream, there's one on the live stream right now, if our audio is too loud or anything like that, you got to let us know. This is a test. This is all part of the show. So if it's too loud or anything like that, let me know, and I'll adjust it, because we're using a new recording program as well. So this is for the podcast listeners. We're actually using a new recording program, and we're learning how that works as well. It occurred to me that I didn't play the intro before, but that's fine.
Yeah, I was thinking
I'll put that in later. That's
okay.
Fine. So yeah, Mass Hole Ron Swanson. Mass Hole Ron Swanson. Welcome to the show, mate. Welcome to the show. All right, so we've also got other shit to talk about. The other day I drove your car to the airport, and I don't know how you fucking do it. He's an Uber driver, and I have no idea how you fucking do it, because it's just full of just lunatics everywhere.
There's a lot of crazy people.
There's just people pulling out at random, just doing all sorts of crazy shit, and I simply cannot imagine like driving full time in this city. It's out of control. Now, long-term listeners will know that. Oh, actually, I'll give a quick shout out to a new listener, Warren. Warren from my work. Thanks for tuning in, mate. Always good to have you here. And also, I've got some listener feedback from another new listener, okay?
Okay, I've got some listener feedback too.
Oh, that's good.
So let's go with yours first.
Okay, so we've got some listener feedback from now this is from a new listener called Anu. And Anu says...
Sounds like I
familiar. Heard of Anu.
Yeah.
I feel like you've heard something about her.
Yeah.
Okay, so Anu says...
I feel like I've heard her. giggling in a room next door to mine, but could be wrong.
I don't know. Don't
Okay.
know what you're talking about. So
Giggles, some titters from the
giggles and titters
from another room in the flat. Not my room, obviously, but someone's.
Yeah. Now look, we as mentioned, this is a live stream. This is the first time live streaming, so we better just acknowledge that we've got some questions here. Now, PipDog5000 says, "Have you ever kissed each other?" Well, I guess we knew that's what it was going to be in the end, right? We knew this was going to happen, didn't we, Guy? It was always just going to be dirty pervs on the internet watching us and going, there's a couple of bears. They look at them. They've got beards and they're obviously hairy bears. And so I'm going to ask them pervy questions about if they've ever kissed each other. But the answer actually is no.
We have
never kissed. The occasional 69er or whatever, amongst friends is fine, but we don't, not so much the kissing, we draw the line at the kissing.
Yeah.
And then we also have another person who said that they came onto the show at the wrong time because right when they walked in, we were talking about jizz. Well,
the wrong time or the right time, my friend.
Welcome to the Guy and Harley Podcast.
Yeah.
So
Anu,
yes, that's right. We got some listener feedback from Anu. And Anu, this was referring to last week. We spoke about this possibility of doing being an extra on Shortland Street, and if I should be an extra on Shortland Street, if I quit my job to become a full-time creative, should I go and be an extra on Shortland Street, which is regular income in the TV biz, but is kind of maybe I would I don't want to sound too big for my britches, but maybe I'm way too fucking good for that,
maybe I'm a fucking big shot and I can't be fucked with this little fucking plebs fucking walking around in the background or some shit because I'm the main event player, baby.
Well, also, it would just be kind of embarrassing, to be, claim to be this leading man trying to get cast and stuff, and here I am on primetime television walking around in the background, on this kind of much loved but much mocked show, Shortland Street. But anyway, so here's the feedback from Anu about our conversation last week. She goes, "Hi, Harley Neville. I was listening to your podcast, episode 117, and would like to give my feedback. I totally understand if you don't want to be an extra and if you feel it kind of devalues yourself, but it gives the impression to the audience that being an extra is totally worthless. There might be so many people out there casting as extras because they want to be real actors one day. Let's not devalue their efforts. Thanks."
Interesting. I've got a little story about that.
Yeah?
Look, a lot of famous actors started off as extras.
Yeah.
And did extra work.
Well, we've both done plenty of extra work.
Yeah.
And we're famous actors.
Including us. So you can't discredit that. But also a lot of delusional people become extras. And I know a little bit about this because my not girlfriend at the time has done a little bit of extra work on Shortland Street just recently.
Yeah.
And she was talking to the other people, and I was like, look, just be a little bit wary, man, because, extras are fucking crazy.
They're often a little bit nuts.
They're fucking nutso. And she was like, you know what? Yeah, they're fucking crazy, all right. And she was like, because she was obviously that they sort of approached her, and they're like, so?
How long you been in the biz?
Yeah, ready for the big time?
Yeah.
And she was like, what the fuck are you idiots talking about? You were fucking extras, all right? And that was kind of her attitude. And they were quite offended, I believe. But also...
This woman we're referring to does have an abrupt way about her.
Blunt.
So I can see how they might have been offended
point
when she laughed in their faces and said that.
Oh yeah,
you're just an extra walking around in the background of Shortland Street.
Yeah, totally. Look, she offends me all the time,
right?
With her statements.
She said that I ride a girl's bike.
Yeah,
my motorbike was a girl's bike.
Diplomacy.
I only just met her. Literally the second thing she said to me.
Diplomacy is not her greatest attribute, shall we say? But yeah, so she kind of laughed at these guys, and then they were kind of, I think, a little bit upset because this is their dream.
Yeah.
And they don't really get that there's no correlation between being an extra and doing all the cool shit you want to do.
But that is not, I don't agree with that.
Well,
you got to start somewhere. And I started. In fact, when people ask me how to get into acting, one of the things I say to them is, well, go and sign up with an agent that just does like everything, like casting call, like just like cattle call agency that does like, for example, a lot of extra work. And you join up with one of these agencies. They start getting you regular extra work. You start showing up on set. You learn a bunch of things about how a set works. You do meet some people, and you inevitably like pick some things up. And I think from there you can get that experience. And then next thing you know, you might get a one-liner somewhere, or you might get to say something on something. I don't know. And so I feel like it is definitely a great way to get into the industry. Still, I don't really think that we should be saying that there's just no benefit to being an extra at all.
I'm not saying there's no benefit, but I just definitely think that there's a lot of extras out there that are kind of like, yeah, so I'm going to be an extra, and then I'm going to get noticed. And my background work's very good. Yeah. My background work is exceptional, and they're going to recognize that. And before you know it, they're going to put me in the foreground. And before you know it, they're going to give me a speaking role. Yeah. And really, I'm pretty much actually like, yes, I'm just an extra, but on the same token, I'm kind of like one of the main cast because I'm always here, and I'm always here. And like, I've actually worked out a character for myself, and I've got a name and everything.
They do say that. They give their characters like names and
and like you wouldn't know any of this stuff, but actually this really informs a lot of my extra acting, and it actually is what elevates me above all the other regular extras. So any minute now I will be getting a call from the casting that I will be actually sort of main eventing and being one of the lead roles.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you something about that. I was an extra on Avatar. That's right, the Avatar. We're both from New Zealand, by the way. I'd just like to add for Masshole, who is asking us on the live stream.
Sick of these goddamn massholes.
Now, I was an extra on Avatar. Yes, the Avatar, one of the highest grossing films of all time, Avatar. And while I was there, I was only on set for one day. And while I was there was another extra who was sort of a pretty Asian girl. And they were like, we need somebody to say a line. Who can do an American accent? And, a bunch of people put their hands up. And
you're like, hello? Is this me?
Yeah, basically. that is what my accent is like. And so yeah, she was like, they were like, we need some people to be like featured and actually have some lines in this. And fucking Avatar. Put your hands up type thing. And we all put our hands up, obviously. Yeah, I can do an American accent. I lied. They didn't choose me, luckily. But they did choose this Asian girl, and she got a line in it, and now she's in the final cut. And she was just an extra. And then now she's in the final cut of the movie. She's like sitting at a desk, and she goes, oh no, we better go up to the flying mountains of Pandora, or whatever it is. And so, there you go. That's exactly what you just described.
Happening.
Sort of. Well, not sort of. She was in one at the time, the highest grossing film of all fucking time.
Well, where is she now, Harley?
Well, I don't know. I don't know her name. But the point is that she is more important than me because she's on IMDb for Avatar. Brad Pitt was an extra, by the way, in Less Than Zero.
John Wayne also was an extra.
Yeah? Yeah. So there you go. There's heaps of people. But anyway, what I really wanted to say was, the whole point of that was that I wanted to say, I should clarify that I didn't mean to devalue the extras. They have saved our bacon many times on many of our shoots. And sometimes
we should be
quite careful.
I am devaluing them.
You are, and we need them.
I should point out what you're saying is very important. They have saved our bacon many times.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And also, look, don't get me wrong. A good extra is worth, like, I will say that there was some sort of committed extras on the zombie film that really became more kind of like, it's almost like you would have cast them as like kind of permanent zombies or whatever because they were so good and they sort of became more central as zombies because of that commitment and time they put in.
And because they were always there.
Yeah.
That's I Survived a Zombie Holocaust we're referring to, our first feature film, which you can find out all about down below if you're on the live stream. Otherwise, I'll post it on the Guy and Harley Facebook page, facebook.com/Guy and Harley, and you can see the trailer to our first feature film, I Survived a Zombie Holocaust. Now, as I was saying, they've saved our bacon many times, and the conversation, Anu, was meant to be based around the idea of me specifically claiming to be a leading man and yet walking around in the background of Shortland Street, New Zealand's most loved and most mocked TV show. And so I failed to pull off that joke last week, and I evidently failed to pull it off this week because we badmouthed them again. So I apologize to all the extras that are listening. We do love you.
Yes. Thank you for being an R-Stuff.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it.
Now, I saw... We'll just open up the Tinder file, shall we?
Well, before you open them up,
yeah,
Shape of Water.
Okay.
We reviewed it. Last week.
Yeah, because you got some listener feedback.
Can you remember some of your jokes that you'd put on that? The basic gist of the recap of it was like, this lady is fucking a fish, and it's really actually quite disturbing.
Yeah.
And like if you really think about it on any deep level, it's fucking sick. It's a fish. It's fucking a fish. It's bestiality.
A humanoid fish thing.
Come on.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was your sort of
angle on it.
Yeah. And what can you remember some of the fish one-liners that you had?
Well, I said like he best case scenario it's bestiality. He's all fishy. Imagine what he smells like. He won't be smelling like Armani Code. He'll be smelling like Armani Cove. And he wouldn't smell like CK1, he'd smell like Sea Cave 1. And he wouldn't smell like Gucci, he'd smell like the disgusting gooch of a disgusting seaman.
Oh, bloody good stuff.
Why do you bring that up?
So anyway, one of our dear listeners and one of my best friends from England, my best friend in England, Naomi Kebby, who's a loyal listener of the show.
Yep.
Shout out to Naomi. Thank you for listening. And she had some comments. She had some response because she watched The Shape of Water.
Yeah.
So I have some input on Harley's review of The Shape of Water.
Okay.
Number 1.
All right.
It is a fantasy story. Open your mind and stop asking too many questions.
No. I refuse to just blindly watch illogical things.
2. There is such a thing as connection without knowing anything about the other individual.
If you say so.
3. He turned out to be of high intelligence and royalty and came back from the dead. Do you have anything to say about that, or was that part fine?
Okay.
Because you basically implied that he was like a retarded fish man.
Yeah, just an animal.
Just a crazy fish man.
Yeah. Well, look, his higher intelligence, I don't really feel like that was ever really established. Like, he did nothing particularly intelligent, if you ask me. Like, what did he do that was so intelligent? At any point in that movie, when did he do anything intelligent apart from basic stuff?
He learned sign language.
He learned some sign language. Well, great. So he's got the mental capacity of a 5-year-old. That's not exactly what I call higher intelligence. I mean, learning sign language can be done at a very young age by humans. So,
okay. Point number 4.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, you enjoyed Pan's Labyrinth and The Strain? Question mark.
Well, The Strain's not enjoy. It's more of a love-hate relationship with The Strain.
Both super realistic and plausible? Question mark. Exclamation point.
I don't have an issue with things not being plausible. Like Pan's Labyrinth was good, as I recall. And The Strain, I feel like that's a bad example because I love to hate it. I love to hate it and I love to badmouth it. Yeah. I'm just loyal to it because I read the book.
Number 5. I think you need to remember that movies don't always need to be realistic or true to life. They can be a huge escape from reality. And in this case, a beautiful love story showing anyone can fall in love. Rant over. Thank you, Naomi. I think that your point is very valid. Harley does this all the time, and it's really fucking annoying. I went along with the whole fucking a fish thing, all right? I'll admit, I went along with it because it was funny. And, if you do think about it, yeah, it's kind of twisted. It's kind of perverted. So, yeah, I went along with this whole fish logic, right? But actually, this is the conversation that I have with him all the time. He will make he has no consistency. He will make some exceptions for things that he's just like, yeah, that was all right. I bought it. It was fine. But then he will nitpick.
Passengers. Good movie. Passengers. Good movie.
There you go. But he will nitpick the idea that Iron Man in his iron suit fell into some sand and that all his bones weren't broken when he fell on the sand.
Well, is he a human or not?
So this is the thing. I agree. Like, there is movies that are escapism. Clearly, I am saying fucking a fish tongue in cheek because to me, I really loved The Shape of Water. I thought it was very well done. And I thought that was absolutely valid. I don't think it should have won an Oscar, but that's by the by. But like, I was on board for it. I bought into the whole fish fucking thing. They had me hook, line, and sinker.
I see what you did there.
But anyway, Harley does have a very frustrating habit of basically calling out movies like bad logic or kind of silly things that you really do have to just embrace and
but
go
you
along
don't,
with.
because here's the thing. There's lots of great movies out there in the world that are fantasy films where you're escaping reality, and yet the logic within that world still works. You're like, okay, yeah, I can believe that they would behave in that way.
The logic of fucking a fish in this world works.
Whereas
the logic is
some
fine.
Movies, no, but like she's probably also referring to things like my
whole
disdain for the
underwater
security. The underwater, the fact that she can't survive underwater and all that stuff. Like, there's lots of great movies out there that do follow some sort of logic that I can appreciate. And I'm a big fan of logic. Big fan.
Yeah, I think you need to lighten up a bit more and embrace the more outlandish ideas and concepts, because that's the thing. It's not real. It's not meant to be real. You can't be applying our lives to this life.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't know about that. But good feedback, though. Good feedback. Good feedback.
Thank you, Naomi.
Yes. Now, I've been watching Altered Carbon. Speaking of shitty shows, I've been watching Altered Carbon.
That you don't like the logic of?
No, and it's not bad. It's actually pretty good. It's quite a interesting sci-fi kind of concept, and it's quite cool. It's like basically people can download and store their consciousness into a chip which they keep in the back of their neck, and so if you ever get shot on the head, you can back yourself up type thing and essentially live forever as long as your chip never gets destroyed.
But it doesn't matter, right? Because that's the chip, it's not you.
Well, that's the thing, but I guess in
the
real world, right, day to day, you're kind of like, well, sure, okay, the original me's dead.
You go, sure.
But I still feel like me.
You go, sure, I am dead.
Yeah.
And the person that was me is 100% dead.
Yeah.
And not feeling like me right now.
Yeah.
But this chip,
yeah,
am all sweet. So fuck that guy.
Well, yeah, pretty much. It's kind of like, I think, and I could see when I followed this.
See, I can't get over that logic.
Well, but that logic's okay for me, because in the real world, if there was the ability for people to chuck a chip in the back of their neck and back themselves up, and then they died and got rebooted, I feel like, and that was normal, like this happened for hundreds of years or whatever, I feel like people would kind of get over it. They'll be like, oh, well, yeah, you die sometimes. But, whatever. I don't feel like I'm dead. I feel like I'm
Well, really, you want to be
conscious.
The chip, right?
Well, what do you mean?
As in, you want to be that backed up chip that keeps getting passed around.
Yeah.
You don't want to be the actual
original,
true consciousness.
Yeah. Because
that guy is fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, yeah. But anyway, it's quite a cool concept, but it is a bit, it's got elements of the strain to it as well. But yeah, it's pretty good. So yeah, go check that out, Altered Carbon on Netflix. I did enjoy that. Now, you're
going to open up the Tinder Files?
We can definitely do that in a second. I was just going to say, like, we used to say rich and famous by 25, and I'm 35 today. It's my birthday, by the way. Forgot to mention that. This is a birthday podcast.
Why don't you tell them what I got you for your birthday?
Guy got me to buy him some beers and some dinner. That's what Guy got me for his birthday. So we just came back from the pub where I bought the
Harley
beers.
shout. Harley Street. I didn't have any money.
On my birthday.
He had to buy me things on his birthday.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
And now we're drinking my beers.
Yeah.
We're drinking beers that were actually provided for me by Alicia. So thank you very much, Alicia. And I also should shout out Jeremy Howson, 5150 listener, regular listener, Jeremy Howson, who put in some beer money into my account, and I used that to buy the beers this afternoon. So thank you very much, Jeremy. The beer money you gave us actually got spent on beer, so don't worry, we didn't waste it. And if anybody else would like to donate to us or buy me a birthday beer or a birthday coffee or something like that, I'm going to post the link in the description of the live stream, and later on I'll post that on the Guy and Harley Facebook page, facebook.com/Guy and Harley, because I just discovered this website called buy me a coffee, and basically you can go there and give $3 as if you're buying me a coffee, but it goes into my PayPal account and then I can go buy myself a coffee with it. Great idea. Somebody's already bought me a coffee today, so that's good. That was $3 in the bank. But yes, so Tinder Files. I saw on Bumble the woman that you lost your virginity to.
Hi-yo!
So I guess she's newly single.
So there's a couple of the plot thickens here.
Yeah?
Well, not really. I mean, that's kind of crazy. I mean, let's just think about that. The woman that I lost my virginity to in Dunedin some 2 years ago is now in Auckland?
Whoa!
And single again?
Yeah.
What? So yeah, I'm pretty sure she was married.
Yeah, well, she was definitely in a very long-term relationship for a while there. But now she's on Bumble, getting swiped right by me.
Did you swipe her right?
I can't remember, but I feel like I didn't.
Oh, didn't you?
I feel like out of respect, I didn't.
Out of respect for my loss of virginity.
No, out of respect for her.
Right.
I don't know, because it'd be weird if I right swiped like an old friend. I don't know, but then again, the only way that they would even know that I right swiped them would be if they right swiped me.
Yeah.
So I guess we're both equally guilty.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got asked on a random Bumble date after not having heard a word from this person and never having met them, and so she just messaged me out of the blue and she goes, "Hey, do you want to go to this West Coast swing dance class tonight? It's free." And I was like, honestly, that sounds fucking horrible.
That sounds like the worst idea ever.
I was like, I can't really think of much worse than having to go to a West Coast swing dance class for beginners with a random Bumble date. And I sort of, I looked at her pictures and stuff, and we weren't like, she wasn't someone I was strongly pursuing, let's just say. And so, but I was like, well, look, I've just had my days off, and this is my last day off, and I was like, I've got nothing else to do. I haven't even left the house, so in my entire days off, so why the fuck wouldn't I? Say yes to the adventure, Harley. Say yes to the adventure. So I said yes, and I showed up, and she was nice enough, but she was in no way at this class to find love, and it turned out that if she brings along a guest to the class, she gets in for free, and it's a $15 class. So by bringing me along, she gets $15 off her expenses of her weekly dance classes that she likes. So I show up, right? She's like, no makeup. I'm not saying that you have to wear makeup, ladies. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that if it's a first date and you want to make it look like you're putting in some effort, like that's the type of thing you might consider. Or if not that, you might dress nicely or something. That she was wearing jandals and jeans. Jandals and socks.
Ooh.
Jandals and socks on a first date. So I walk up there, she's wearing jandals and socks.
That just reeks of no effort.
Oh no, like literally zero effort.
Zero fucks given, but also almost anti-date.
It's almost like I don't want to give you the wrong idea.
I'm sending you a message right now.
Yeah.
With my jandals and jeans. I'm sending you jandals, jeans, and socks.
Yeah.
I'm sending you a real message. Pick up what I'm putting down, buddy.
Yeah.
You got no hope.
Yeah. Well, look, I got talking to her. It turned out she had taken 5 or 6 Bumble dates to this class, and it was her regular gig. She just took fucking schmucks like me along to get in for free.
Fucking shameless.
And what's worse is that it's a rotational class. So you show up, you have one dance with your date, and then the circle moves, and she moves on to the next one. So I turn around to see who's coming next, and it's like a 6.5 foot tall elderly Asian woman, and like she looked very nice, and she was like all made up. She had made an effort.
She'd made the effort.
She had nail polish on. She had her hair done, her makeup. She looked great.
No jandals.
I mean, she was like honestly in her 60s or 70s, I guess.
She looked bloody great.
But she looked great. Yeah, and so basically I showed up, spent 5 minutes talking to this girl at the beginning, and then ended up dancing with a lot of old ladies. And that was my night. But look, these modern ladies, they be ruthless, and frankly, I'm not even mad. I kind of admire it. I was like, I was all right with it. She somehow got away with it. I wasn't feeling angry about it. But on the upside, while I was there, I did meet a beautiful young woman, and after the music stopped, she remained holding my hand. So I feel like there was some chemistry there.
Whoa.
But I only got her first name, not her last. And she goes, at the end of the class, she goes, "You going to come next week?" And I was like, no. No. So I'll never see her again. The downside of her was that she did make the entire evening a lot more fun, because I was kind of like, oh, at least there's some hope of like some sort of, I don't know, something romantic and exciting maybe on this, date that I'm on. But, the downside, of course, was that she had very bad breath. So that really made her quite a lot less attractive, like real bad breath. So, like, I don't really get it. Like, how can you not smell your fucking horrific breath? And, like, how can you not floss and, like, brush your teeth before you go out to, like, meet people and, like, be dancing with people and stuff? And so I think that's the problem, flossing. I think that there's some of these ladies with bad breath, because this is my second, like, sort of date situation with a person with bad breath that I've been on. And it's like, you got to get flossing, ladies. You got to get flossing. And I know it bleeds at first, but, that's a sign that you need to floss more often.
Northhead.
Yeah, she did have bad breath. So yeah, anyway, that night I spent like $25 by the time I did all my Ubers and that, and then I came home, I jumped on Twitch, I made $6.87. Right? So my options are fucking go out on dates, spend lots of money, smell bad breath, or hang out on the computer, talk to you dudes, make money.
What's this next bit that you've got here?
I don't know, mate. We was working my way through. You sort of looking over at my notes.
Yeah. Not the milk.
Oh, okay. So
not the milk one, but
yeah. So yeah. Well, what I was just going to say about this podcast.
Yeah.
Like, this is one of those things about the podcast, and this is even worse now that we're doing it live on the live stream. It means that we can't edit out things that we shouldn't have said, which sometimes happen, particularly if you've drank a few beers and you're doing the show and you just say some shit that you probably shouldn't say, and so, that feeling you get when after you've just like had sex with a stranger and you're really into them and because they seem cool and sexy and amazing in bed, but you can't really enjoy it because you got caught up in the moment and you accidentally didn't use a condom and now you have to worry about the repercussions. Well, that's how I feel after the end of each podcast that we do. I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking? You can't do that. This is not a fucking game. This is real life serious shit. And, I like the Sifty 150. I'm attracted to them. And at a glance, they look clean. But who can really tell? And, any of the Sifty 150 listeners could crop something I say and put it somewhere else, and so... who can really tell? Any one of them might be a secret traitor informant, or an STI for short. So that's what I'm saying there.
Good stuff. Well, you opened up the Tinder Files.
Yep.
Well, they were the Bumble Files this week.
Yep.
But we should also open up the Uber Files.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do a lot of Ubering. I'm an Uber driver. I drive people around. I tend to do it on the weekends, late at night, and I talk to my share of a-holes.
Mass holes.
But sometimes just someone just really rubs you the wrong way. And I picked up a girl in her 20s, early 20s. Not unattractive. But the very first thing was like, so I parked to where the location was, which was mainly it was on K Road, very busy road, outside Family Bar, which is a very busy bar, where I pick probably the most people up from any bar is from Family Bar. That's where I pick people up from.
If you're an Uber driver in Auckland, people, there's
Family
the tip.
Bar.
There's the tip, Family Bar.
And anyway, so I tried calling her, it wouldn't go through. Because she wasn't there. Then she called me and she goes, "Oh, where are you? Where are you?" And I was like, I'm at the pin location where you put." She goes, "No, I don't see you. And I was like, "Well, I'm just outside Family Bar." And she goes, "Oh, we're on the other side of the street." And I was like, "Well, I can't turn around. Like, it's impossible to turn around because there's a median in the middle." So I can do a loop around, or you can cross the road. What would you like to do? Oh, I can't see you. I can't see you. Where are you? I'm directly where all those taxis are. All 20 of them. Outside Family Bar. That's where I am. Oh, I can't see you. I can't see you. Oh, I don't know where you are. And then you just see you like walking across the street to where I am. Yeah, I'm right here. Oh, you parked on the wrong side of the street. Classic Harley Neville line. Well, on the app, on the thing, it just had you in the middle. So I parked outside Family Bar because that's the busiest bar and where I pick most people up from.
Yeah.
Oh, well, on our app, I put you on the other side of the street. And I was like, okay, sure.
Cool.
Cool. No worries. But I was just like, why the fuck are we talking about this? Like, why do you feel it's necessary to have an argument about this from this person that's picking you up?
Well, here's my question. So you picked her up. She came across the road and she got into the car on Family Bar side of the street. Now, you're facing one way and you can't do a U-turn there because there's a median in the way. Did she want to go the other way?
No, she didn't.
She wanted to go the way you were facing?
Yeah, she wanted to go the way I was facing.
Okay, all right. Well, she's an idiot then.
Yes.
She should have been on that side of the street anyway.
Yes, she should have.
Because what kind of dumbass... She's going to end up facing the wrong fucking way and you can't do a U-turn there because there's a median. No. So it's going to end up costing her extra.
Yeah. So anyway, I was like... So her destination was approximately in Grey Lynn, right?
Yeah.
So Grey Lynn to Family Bar is extremely close. It's a minimum fare.
Yeah.
So it basically means it's $4 for me.
Yeah.
This ride on this chick who's already got on my nerves. And she's already kind of just talking shit. And I was like, okay. And then she's like, can we stop at McDonald's? And I was like, well, I can drop you off at McDonald's.
But so you don't get any extra money for waiting in line at McDonald's?
You get an extra 19 cents per minute.
Right.
Which amounts to sweet fuck all.
Yeah, well, I guess, like, what, if you're there for 5 minutes, you get $1.
Yeah. So, you know, if you're there for 20 minutes, you get $4?
$4, yeah.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Because this is, so also this is peak Uber time.
Yeah.
So this is when I could be taking people, you know, like long distances away and like making some actual money.
Yeah, people that are drunk and want to go home.
You just squirted lemon in my eye. Legitimately.
Live on the show.
This is unbelievable. He just squirted in my eye. Harley just squirted in my eye. Now I can't see.
Yeah. And that lemon smells like farts too.
So anyway, and then she was like, oh, you know, can we stop at McDonald's? And I was like, yeah, we can stop at McDonald's if it's not too busy, but like I have to
keep moving.
You know, like I have to keep. And she's like, oh, well, why? Is there some problem, you know, with stopping at McDonald's? And I'm like, she's like, isn't it your job to take me where I want? And I go,
yeah, to take you there, not wait for you.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was like, well, it's my job to take you to your destination, which you haven't put as McDonald's, and I'm happy to take you there. But I'm just saying that McDonald's, and she goes, well, what's the matter with going to McDonald's? We're fucking paying for it, aren't we? And I was like, well, actually, no, you're not really paying for it. Explaining this whole
the 19 cents a minute
19 cents a minute thing. And she was like, oh, well, I've never had this problem with any other Uber drivers. And I was like, well, I'm sorry, but I'm trying to make a living here.
Yeah.
And so we got to McDonald's, and guess what?
It's busy.
It's fucking busy as fuck. She goes, oh, is it all good? Is it all good? And I was like, no. There's a huge queue. It's going to take us like half an hour to get through this. This is absolutely not worth it. Because also it's like, she knows she's got a fucking, all this shit, and she's got a fucking $6 fare.
Yeah.
All this shit she's given me, she's got a $6 fare, and she's like, oh, you know, like, you know, I just can't believe that, you know, you can't stop off, you know, at McDonald's. Like, I take Ubers all the time from here. And I was like, well, you must have some very nice and patient Uber drivers then. But I'm afraid that I'm going to have to take you to your house, or I can drop you off here. Either way is fine.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? And she was like, oh, no, just forget it. Just take us home. Just take us home.
Yeah.
And then she was just bitching the whole way back about this thing. And I was like, are you fucking for real?
Yeah.
You give me $4 to just give me shit the whole time I'm in the fucking thing. But I just couldn't believe it was just the whole attitude. It really, like, I've had crazy drunk people in my car. I had a guy the other day that I had to argue with for about 15 minutes for him to get out of my car because he thought I hadn't taken him to his place because he was so drunk that he didn't recognize his house.
Yeah.
Which was right there.
Yeah, and that's happened before as well.
And then when I got him, that's not the first time. And then I got him out of the car and I was like, is this it? Is this the place? And he was like, he looked at it for like, again, a very long time. And then he was like, oh yeah. Sorry, man. Sorry. Yeah. He didn't even realize I was the Uber driver.
Did you have the app still running during that time? For that 15 minutes? So you got your 19 cents
So I got my
minute?
90 cents per minute. But you see, I wasn't mad with that guy. He was just really drunk.
Yeah.
He was a nice guy. Yeah. And like, I couldn't really hate on that.
Yeah.
But this chick was just a straight up bitch. Yeah. And like, even the stuff that she was saying not to me was bitchy. Yeah. She was just bitching about some people at the club that they'd left.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, there's a lot of hate in your heart. I really don't see it working out well for you.
You need to invite Jesus into your heart.
Oh, I was not. No, you need to invite some fucking compassion for others into your heart.
And
but anyway,
when you dropped her off, you drop her off to like a fancy rich people house?
Oh, it was like
just a normal house?
It was just a normal flat. Right. But also, like, again, she kind of...
Because I always take any opportunity I can to villainize the rich.
Of course, as you should, as we all do.
Yeah.
As all us unsuccessful non-rich people do.
Yeah.
And no, but I dropped her off again. She kind of bitched and moaned, and I gave her a 1-star motherfuckered her.
Yeah, so but she probably 1-star
motherfuckered
1-star you.
Me. But that's what frustrating because like at the end of the day, I was being completely reasonable.
Yeah.
And polite.
Yeah.
And she was being a total fucking bitch.
Yeah. And
I got 1-star motherfuckered for it.
Mm.
And that is the problem with Uber is like you don't have to be doing a bad job to get a shitty rating.
Yeah. Well, that's the service industry though, mate. Like, and you are the servant at the end of the day.
That's true.
You're the servant. So your job is to take the shit. And it's the same as like, you know, when you work at bloody McDonald's for $15, $14 an hour or whatever it is, and you get some fucking dickhead coming in there wanting fucking everything, wanting the world, you know, and you're getting $13 an hour to put up with his bullshit. It's the same deal. Unfortunately, you can't tell them to get fucked.
Oh man, I was close.
Yeah,
I was so close with that girl. I really was. I was just like, I just wanted to say, just listen, just shut the fuck up and stop bitching. You're a $4 ride, and you're saying you would rather take so maybe I make $7 as opposed to $40 right now to accommodate you. You fucking slaphead.
Slaphead.
That's right.
Yeah, I went there. Okay, so look.
We better wrap it up.
Oh, really?
Go. Yeah.
We got to go?
It has been a fresh hour on the almost an hour.
All right, okay.
We're at 57 minutes.
Yeah, all right, okay. All right, well, in that case, we'll wrap it up. I do have some other stuff, which I'll save for next week. Okay. What I've got 4 people on the live stream right now. You know, we're peaking. We're peaking on the fucking live stream, right, when Guy wants to wrap it up. But Guy does have to go do some Uber driving and deal with slapheads.
Yeah.
So
there's another fucking slaphead that wants to go to McDonald's when the queue's like half an hour
for
long.
19 cents a minute.
Fuck.
Yeah, well, so what we'll do though is, you know, Guy can keep moving. I'll stop the podcast. We'll say goodbye to the podcast listeners, and then I'll keep the live stream live for a little bit and just see what these dudes want to talk about, if anything.
See if they want to see a close up of your wank toilet paper that you've got.
Yeah. Well, they've already seen that.
Yeah. Not the new listeners.
Yeah, well, it's true. Yes, okay, all right, cool. So we'll wrap it up for the podcast. So thank you very much for listening. Thanks for sticking by us as we deal with our technical issues, figuring out how to live stream and stuff as well. So thanks for that. If you would like to support us, you can. I'm going to share the link to buy Harley a coffee for my birthday on Facebook, facebook.com/Guy and Harley. I'll also share, I've already shared their Alex Savage, information about Alex Savage winning his first bout ever, and various other bits and pieces. So if you enjoy our show, please go along to facebook.com/Guy and Harley and hit like there, and you can get all updated. If you're on iTunes, if you're listening on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating and preferably write a little review for us as well. But otherwise, just give us a star rating. That still helps. And yeah, other than that, thank you very much for listening. You got anything to add for the listeners, Guy?
Nah, just want to say, 35.
Yes, it was my
not
birthday,
a great
isn't it?
year.
We didn't do any sort of birthday tribute or anything.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying that. Yeah, like
this is it. This is the birthday tribute.
35,
and
man.
Guy's gonna do it off the cuff.
It wasn't good. We're not where we want to be.
No, well, Rich and Famous by 40, that's the new one. It used to be, when we were kids, it was Rich and Famous by 25. Yeah. Now we're 35.
So we've ruled that out by a decade.
Yeah, but Rich and Famous by 40, okay?
Yeah. Just hang in there. Just hang in there.
Well, I actually did. That was the next thing I was going to talk to you about. Was I did want to. Well, we'll have to get into it next week. But I did want to talk to you. This was the setup. Was going to be after 18 years of filmmaking, I no longer fantasize about my dreams coming true. Do you? And what's your greatest dream at the end of it all? Like, do we have mansions in Hollywood, or what the fuck's going on?
Hey, it's an interesting question.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
that's like in your mind,
you don't visualize
not success anymore. Like I used to fantasize about how great it would be, when we're rich and famous and we'll have like a big mansion and everyone will know our names and we'll be filmmakers and actors and all that stuff. And then nowadays, I never even think about fantasize about what could be, and I feel like that's a bad thing because that means that I'm sort of I'm less motivated to do stuff because I'm not picturing that fantasy of like walking in the club and being the coolest guy there or something like that, Yeah,
I mean, I do still fantasize more. Like a lot. One of my big fantasies is often that sexual.
Yeah, sexual fantasies. Yeah.
No, my big one is that I am not working.
Yeah.
Like, I am just working. I'm just making movies. So, like, I was talking to Imi about this, but basically I wake up, I do my filmmaking, I finish, and I go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I definitely fantasize about that sometimes while I'm doing all these shitty jobs or whatever. It's just a fantasy of like, man, imagine just getting paid for this.
Yeah.
Like, imagine just being paid for this thing that you're good at and that you love. And so I definitely do visualize that still.
Yeah.
And I guess I do in my head maybe like I fantasize about us going to film festivals and stuff because we did it.
We do go to festivals. Our fantasies come true.
And it was like amazing. And so I guess I fantasize about going to more and bringing new work to those because they're such a great way to celebrate the work we do and they're so rewarding.
But bigger, it's got to be bigger. You know, like do you don't ever fantasize where you're like, oh yeah, that Oscar nomination. Like maybe you did when you were a teenager. It was like, I'm probably gonna win the Oscar one day. Those heady dreams.
I guess my things are more modest. I think that sometimes my mind still goes there from time to time, but I more see it as a progression. So I'm working on the first fantasy, the 9 to 5 fantasy.
To get rid of the 9 to 5 fantasy.
Or like 9 to 5 filmmaking fantasy. So I'm I'm thinking small, I'm thinking step by step, small steps. Then when I get to that, then I'll fantasize about, the bigger movie. Then I'll fantasize about the bigger thing, but I don't start off with the pie in the sky anymore.
Yeah. Well, me either, When I was a teenager, it was all the pie in the sky.
Yeah.
Rich and Famous by 25. Yeah. All right. Well, guys, got to go do some Ubering. So we will wrap it up for the podcast listeners. If you're listening on the stream, hang about. The show's not over. So thank you very much to the podcast listeners. Tune in again next week. We love you. Thank you very much. Good night.
See you later.